So hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. I'm going to take a quick look at the 3 pairs of cycling gloves that I use kind of late autumn through pretty much through the winter. I'm of the opinion that really for winter riding or late autumn through winter riding you probably need 3 pairs of gloves, and they are a deep winter pair, which we'll take a look at what makes them deep winter. A wind stopping pair, slightly lighter, so not quite as thick as the ones that we've just looked at, but again Castelli. And then finally a pair of neoprene for those wet days, slightly more mild kind of conditions, and the ones that I use are Rapha. So we'll kick off with these ones. This is going to be fairly brief, short video. Gloves are going to be a pretty personal thing, depends how much you feel the cold, I guess. Me personally, as I've touched on in previous videos, my hands, my feet, my ears, I really do suffer with a cold, so I am a stickler for decent gloves and decent socks, so I'll probably do something on socks in future. Anyway, so these are neoprene. They are exactly as they look. There's no padding or anything in there, there's no liner as such. They're just out and out neoprene gloves. These are fantastic at keeping your, I wouldn't say your hands dry, but certainly your hands warm. Light showers, not a problem to them at all, but as the rain really starts to come down, then water will actually get inside the glove. But how they work is because they form such a close, tight barrier to your hands, then they actually use the water as insulation. You'll find them kind of bump on, be it Castelli or in this case Rapha's website, and they give you a bit more information as to how they work. The other thing that you need to look out for with buying wet gloves or gloves for riding in the wet is what the seams are like. So, and actually how much stitching there is on there as well, because water will get in there. Stitching on these pretty minimal, and where there is stitching, it's really tight. And actually, I'm no seamstress, but this is actually stitched on the inside as well, so if you can see that, it looks a little bit odd, but that's because the stitching's actually on the inside the way it's finished. So these are the Rapha Pro Team neoprene gloves. They retail for around about £40. Me personally, as somebody who feels the cold, pretty good with these temperature wise, down to about 2 degrees, probably anywhere sort of 2 to maybe 8-9 degrees. You can wear them temperatures above that, but they will make your hands very sweaty. They're not all that breathable. As I've said, the way that they work in terms of insulation ultimately is to try and use the moisture as a bit of a barrier and trap it in the material. So they do work pretty well, but anything below 2 degrees, and to be honest, all that moisture is just going to get cooler and cooler, and your hands are going to get cold. But really rate these. They're a decent pair of gloves for, as I say, that sort of 2 to 8 degrees kind of weather. So that's those. Pretty much wet weather riding, where there's a chance of either heavy downpour or a light shower. Those kind of temperatures that I talked about, they're my go-to glove. Next ones are these, which I would describe as a Castelli kind of mid-weight winter glove. Mid-weight because you can wear these from kind of late autumn through probably most of the winter, provided the temperature doesn't drop, say, below 0-1 degrees. Now I will actually put a link on as well of these, so that's probably popping up on the screen now. I bought these at the beginning or at the end of 2016. So Castelli are very smart. They will pretty much release the same glove year in, year out. They may change the odd thing, but what they will do is change the name, and they'll change the style, so that if you're somebody who really wants the latest kit, and guess what, you go out and buy it. I have just had a quick look on Wiggle. There is almost an identical pair of these gloves that's available this year. Not in this colourway, they're either black or they're red, but to me they look pretty much the same glove. As I said, these are great for kind of 0-1 degree up to probably 9-10, so very similar to the neoprene ones. They're much better at keeping the wind out because they have this windproof layer here, and also the Castelli detailing here. This is actually rubber, and so they're great for gripping. There's a couple of hard fingers on here as well, as opposed to the soft fingers there, obviously for where you'll be pulling on the hoods, so there's a little bit of extra protection. But these pretty much through the winter will be my go-to glove. They're not all that bulky. They're great in the cooler temperatures. You can wear them as it's a little bit milder. The winters here in the UK now are so up and down. We can go for a couple of weeks where actually we're getting double digits during the day. Other times, you know, it's 1-2 degrees. So these are really, really versatile. They've got a nice tight cuff on them as well, so I'm not getting any drafts in. But really, really do rate those gloves. I probably paid in the region of about £40 to £50 for them, and certainly looking at the ones that are available online now, price point wise, very similar, that's available this year to this particular model. And finally, the deep winters. So I've had these a couple of years, you'll see. Transfer on there is actually peeled away a little bit. So I have had these a couple of years. These are very bulky compared to the others. It's going to be difficult to get that across in this video, but you know, there's certainly a liner in here, and then there's padding in between the outer layer as well. Again, they've got the windstopper layer that's on the outside of these gloves, and got a very grippy area here on the palm as well. Get the usual kind of forehead, more likely to be nose wiping. Towel there on the back, and unlike the previous pair that we just looked at, again I will pop a description there, these actually have a wider opening cuff so that you can get them over a jacket or maybe a couple of layers, I don't know, merino base layer, long sleeve jersey, that kind of thing, and then you can strap them up pretty tight. These are great in dry, cold conditions. If it's wet, there's that much padding here, and the water does get in pretty quick, that they just soak up any moisture. I got caught in these, I think probably the first year that I had them, real heavy downpour, and my hands just became like lead weights, and it didn't take too long then for my hands to actually get cold either. So although these are great for, you know, below freezing temperatures, and I've certainly worn them a couple of times when it's been, you know, -1, -2, -3, if it's wet at all, then avoid these. And then that presents a new challenge, because as I've touched on, the others are really for above freezing conditions. So I don't really know what the answer is to that one. And for once I'm asking for comments for, you know, actually what do people do when the temperature drops below 0 and it's wet? Do people just do indoor training? Do they wait until it stops raining? Do they wait till it's a bit milder? I'll be really keen to know, because whilst I think you should have 3 pairs of gloves, that really cold, wet, freezing conditions, your hands are at least going to get wet, and as they get wet and you move at any kind of pace, they're going to get pretty cold as well. So there's a quick look at the 3 pairs of gloves that I'd suggest. I will pop links for all of them in the description, also do some pop-ups as well through the video. Any comments, as I say, drop them in the section below. Otherwise, please like and subscribe if you would like to see more. Thanks for watching.